Fujifilm's X Series lineup is one of the best camera systems out there to get into photography or content creation in 2025. But even among the entry-level models, there is a wide range, different sensors, features and price points. In this video I'm gonna help you figure out which X system camera you actually need, whether you shoot photography, videography or both. Firstly, there are some things that all cameras I will be talking about have in common. 1. None of the cameras are weather sealed, something that Fujifilm notoriously leaves out for their top-of-the-line cameras. And 2. None of the cameras have 2 SD card slots, which can be important if you want to shoot things like weddings or other live events where a broken SD card is a disaster because it's a moment that you can't repeat. So 2 card slots can be important because you can save the same photo on both cards, so you're always on the safe side. If these 2 features are important to you, you will have to spend some more money and go for a top-of-the-line product, or to save some money, go for a used camera. Now I'll first go over all the cameras and the big features that they do have, and after that I'll go into a bit more detail comparing them so you know which is the right camera for you. And I'll break this into 2 categories: the cameras that do have in-body image stabilization and the ones that don't. And just to make it a bit easier, the cameras that don't have IBIS I wouldn't consider for video use. Simply because if you want to shoot handheld amateur video, IBIS is an essential feature to have a clean, not shaky shot. Obviously there are things like tripods and gimbals that can fix this for you, but if it's not a professional shoot, I think most people would rather just leave that home. Just know it is an option. Honestly, when I first thought of making this video, it was mainly because I knew the XE5 was about to come out this summer, but when I started researching for entry-level cameras, I realized how many entry-level cameras Fujifilm actually has in their lineup right now. Of course, that's only cameras that you can still buy new from online shops. So now the cameras that do have IBIS sorted by price are the XE5, the XT50 and the XS20. And the cameras that do not have IBIS are the XT30 Mark II, the XM5 and the X-Half. Let's start with the XE5. It literally just came out, and the cheapest offer I could find right now here in Germany was around 1,550 euros, which I'd assume in the coming months will go down, just like we saw on the XT50 that came out last year. It has the newest 40 megapixel X-Trans 5 sensor, the newest X-Trans 5 processor, so it does have fast autofocus, and as mentioned, it has in-body image stabilization. It's a great tool for photography, especially street photography, and honestly it's just beautiful to look at. I know some people might smirk over a comment like that, but honestly a beautiful camera is just one that you want to take and go out to shoot. And the more you shoot, the better your photography gets, so I think this is actually a valid feature that you should consider. The video is great too. You can shoot up to 4K 60 frames per second or 6.2K 30 frames per second, though because of the high megapixel sensor you do have some rolling shutter. And because of that reason most video first cameras have a lower megapixel count, most noticeably in the Sony E system, because they have the photo first A7R5 which has 61 megapixels, and then they have the video first A7S3 which only has 12 megapixels, but it's designed to be that way. Now the second camera is the XT50, and the cheapest offer I could find for that one is 1,250 euros. It's virtually the same camera as the XE5, pretty much all the features are the same even though it came out 1 year ago. It is cheaper, so if price is a deciding factor for you, the XT50 is definitely a better deal, which honestly I'd assume price is a deciding factor for most of us. The biggest difference is the form factor. It really just depends on if you like the SLR style better from the XT50 or the rangefinder style from the XE5. But just to complete it, it also has the 40 megapixel sensor, the newest processor, it has IBIS, and it can shoot 4K 60 or 6.2K 30. The third option is the XS20, which can be bought new for around 1,000 euros. It has been out for a while now, and it has the older 26 megapixel sensor, which honestly is still a great sensor. I love using it, I shoot with it all the time on my X-T4. This camera has IBIS as well and is honestly just great for both photo and video. It has great ergonomics because of that classic PSM dial style, meaning you have that big front grip and looks more like a normal camera, not like a film camera, which most other Fujifilm cameras are trying to imitate. And the video features are actually quite impressive. You can shoot 4K 60 frames per second with a small crop. You can also shoot 6.2K 30 frames per second internally, or you can shoot 6.2K 30 frames per second open gate, which means you shoot with the entire sensor, but you do have to do that externally through the micro HDMI. XM5 came out last year and you can buy it for around 850 euros. It's a nifty little camera. It doesn't have a viewfinder, only the screen, has a very small form factor. You have 26 megapixel sensor and the newest processor, so you have great autofocus. autofocus. Though it doesn't have IBIS, so I wouldn't really consider it for video if you're not planning on carrying around a gimbal. And it's honestly just a great everyday camera because of its small form factor. I think it's a great entry point into the FUJIFILM X system because it's a very modern, capable camera, and it doesn't break the bank like all the other cameras do. Now, the oldest camera of the bunch is the X-T30 Mark II. It came out back in 2021, and you can still buy it new for around 850 euros. It has the same 26 megapixel sensor, but it does have the older processor, so the autofocus is not that great. It does have a viewfinder though, which honestly me and a lot of people find essential for a photography first camera. And it does not have IBIS. Now, the last camera is, let's say, special. The X-Half. It's a camera that has its sensor vertically instead of horizontally, meaning you hold the camera horizontally, but the image you're taking is vertically. It doesn't have an X-Trans crop sensor, but a 1-inch 18 megapixel sensor, which is significantly smaller. It doesn't have IBIS, and you can't shoot raw images, only JPEG, so if you really hate editing, this might be the way to go. You can shoot video with it, but the quality isn't the greatest, so you're probably better off just taking out your phone and shooting video with that. It still costs 800 euros, and even though it's the cheapest of the bunch, it's still quite a lot of money. Oh, and kind of important, it has a fixed lens, so you can't change lenses. Personally, I think the X-Half should be out of the equation. It is a fun little camera, but I think it's mostly for people that already have a dedicated camera that just want to have a fun little camera on the side. So I'm not saying new Fuji users shouldn't get this camera, but you are severely limiting yourself. Because with this fixed lens, you can't make use of Fujifilm's great lens lineup. Honestly, I think this camera is mostly aimed at people that want to shoot with a film camera but don't want to spend the money to get new film all the time. But honestly, I really love that Fujifilm is experimenting with cameras like this, and I think if it was a bit cheaper, like 500 euros, it would be a big hit. Now, if you're purely a photographer and don't want to spend too much money, the X-T30 Mark II or the XM5 is your choice. The biggest difference is that the XM5 doesn't have a viewfinder, only the screen, but they both have the same sensor, but the XM5 has the new processor, so it has faster and more reliable autofocus. Now, if you don't mind spending a bit more money and you want to shoot photo and video, but you are photography first, you should consider the XE5 or the X-T50. As said, they're pretty much the same camera, just with a different form factor. I mean, obviously for only the form factor, the price difference is quite large, but personally I would rather choose the XE5, so spend a bit more money, because I really like that rangefinder style form factor. Now, if video is your main concern, you should definitely consider the XS20. You get IBIS, you get a great sensor for video work, and you get the newest processor, so you have great autofocus capabilities. And with this camera and the sensor, you don't have any rolling shutter like you have on the XE5 or X-T50 because of their high megapixel sensor. And honestly, the 26 megapixel sensor is also great for photography because there's not that big of a difference between the 26 and the 40 megapixel sensor if you just look at the image on the screen. The bigger difference is if you want to crop in, the 40 megapixels is gonna benefit you quite a lot. And if buying a new camera just isn't your thing, maybe just because you don't want to spend too much money or you want to get more bang for your buck, you should definitely consider buying a used camera. Just make sure to look up one of those guide videos that tell you what you have to look out for when buying a used camera so you don't get scammed and waste your money. Anyway, if you now bought your new camera and you're thinking about editing a bit more and want to find out about an editing tool I really like using, check out this video right here.